So let's call the meeting to order. Carol, you're here. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I have a question. Are you only on? I'm on my iPhone, so I can only see 6 of us. Can you see more than that? I know Jim's on there. I assume Chip just got on.
I'm here.
Chip, I can't
Yeah.
see. I don't think we have your video.
Oh, wait a minute. I got to turn my camera on here, I guess. There we go.
Well, can you swipe to see the other screen?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm doing. I can
Now
see.
you should be able to see me.
You should be able to swipe.
Yeah, all I have is the agenda and 6 of us. So, but that's okay.
You can hear everyone though.
I know what you guys look like, so.
Okay.
Let me ask, did Ben Lee slip on the call? I see one other person.
I saw his name.
His name came on.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm just listening.
Okay, just want to make sure I can identify the people for the minutes there, Ben. Thank you. All right, Cheryl, sorry.
Okay, well, we've called the meeting to order. We're here. We need to take action on the minutes from our last meeting. Is there any comments or are we ready to approve?
I move to approve them.
Second.
I'll second. So we'll go ahead and approve the meetings for March the 5th.
Did you not hear me? Second.
I did not, Carol.
Okay.
Okay. I can now though, so thank you for speaking up. Okay, so we'll go right to the COVID-19. Jim, do you have information on that?
Well, you see a lot of communities are trying to put stuff together for business recovery once we open back up. I did put out a survey to businesses asking what sort of services or assistance they needed. It's got 9 responses. It's not all that large of a response, but it's still valuable information. My question, I guess, to the committee is, do we want to do anything grander, larger, in concert with Grow-Licking County or the chamber or anything like that, or just let those entities take the reins on what they do best and we just continue to do what we're doing? It's more of a question than anything.
Well, what do you suggest, Jim?
The latter.
Those 2 options.
My just because of bandwidth with us and staff and everything else we have to do, I would leave it up to the chamber and the Grow-Licking counties of the world, and then we can just. I've been stealing information from other websites, really good information that I'm just publishing, and my idea is just to maintain what we're doing, helping where we can, and pointing people in the right direction, and not actually formalizing a final economic recovery plan.
I agree.
Well, yeah.
I think that's the right decision.
Okay, I just wanted to get it out there. You've probably seen other communities do it, so I didn't want you to think we weren't doing it, but we just don't have the staffing.
Okay.
That's okay.
Do we need to do a vote on that, or you can just do it, right?
No, we just won't do anything.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go to the project updates next. So Jim, I'll let you go down the list.
Yeah, so the TIF and the CRA, those are items that kind of came out both of economic development and the CIC. Nothing has moved on either one of those, but they're still a priority. So we'll continue to maybe get into those next month, but nothing new on that. And I'll give Jack the floor on the New Day water and sewer, especially the sewer there, Jack, if you got some info on that.
Yes, of course, we went on to our pumped system in January. And so I waited through the first quarter to tally some income numbers and flows coming in. Our contract required a minimum amount that they pump to us monthly. They are exceeding that. But we had kind of set our sights, if they pumped the minimum for 12 months, we would collect roughly $176,000 for the year. At their current rate, they're well exceeding that. If they maintain the current rate through the sewer. We're going to collect $306,000 this year versus the 176. And based off the minimums, we are basically through the first quarter at 44% collections. So that is a very good news, and I don't see them slowing down at all on that usage. And the plant itself, even though the strengths are coming in a little higher, is doing well and maintaining. Our next big hurdle will be May 1st when they lower our limits. But as of right now, everything, by they, I mean the EPA. We have a summer limit and a winter limit. And I think we're going to be okay, but I'll keep you aware of that. The waterline project is just in its early phases right now. The engineers have asked for any type of information we have on that roadway. I see, Jim, you had responded to that. And I already have maps being set aside where our mains are and for tie-in for that. So if you can get them to contact at the county, I think they're going to stay on pace.
Yeah, and here's a quick little, going back to the sewer, you know, our contract revenue was about 175. If I did put a couple little dips in June, July, August, because we assume that maybe they'll spread some, or at least I'm assuming. So we'll go contract price at 175 into the actuals around 300. So that's if we maintain the first 3 months average over the course of the next year with a assumption of a slight dip. So pretty good news, pretty good situation we're in at this point. Thanks, Jack.
Yes, sir.
Going back to the agenda, which should pop back up. I'm slowly getting used to this process. Enterprise Center, I am finalizing the easement with Emory as we speak, with Yaz and their attorney. So we'll have that signed, come in, grab the two other ones and get those signed or get those recorded. So that is what the Port Authority last piece of the puzzle for them. And I had a heart-to-heart with Rick Plaid. I don't know if he was trying to talk us out of it or what, but he was just worried that, you know, our funds were going to go away. And I said, well, no, they're currently sitting in an account and we're still on board with this. So I reassured him we're still going full steam ahead with the project. And then, so once those are recorded, they'll submit for their NOI for the Ohio EPA and get this thing going. Also, we discussed the fact that construction companies may be a little hungry. We kind of missed the bidding window right now for construction jobs, but with this virus, people may be a little hungry and maybe giving us some good prices. So more to come on that.
Great.
Okay.
Any questions?
No. Now, when do you want to talk about, have we heard anything from any of the companies at all?
Yeah, I can give you a quick rundown. So Tech, just talked to Mike Murray yesterday. They're still 100% operational, utilizing all the social distancing guidelines. They take the temperature of every single employee during the beginning of every single shift. They're doing a whole bunch of great things to make sure their employees are well. They're offering overtime. You know, they're still pumping out money into the economy. So that's good. Apex, everybody's working either from home or in the facility. Atrium is down a lot. Blackman's down a lot. They're not considered critical. Ohio Pack is next to impossible to get a hold of. So they haven't responded. Those are probably the bigger ones. Steel Ceilings is still operational, or Armstrong. And then you have
Who have you been trying to contact at Ohio Pack?
What's his name? The GM over there.
Francisco?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's my contact. I was gonna give his name to you if you haven't been trying to contact him.
Yeah, that was him. I assume he's, I don't know, maybe just doesn't, he's busy probably trying to keep his head afloat just like everybody else. So I haven't pushed him too.
Yeah.
So those are probably the businesses. Are there any other businesses, Carol, that you were curious about, or Cheryl?
No, everything, probably any new developments are just not moving or doing anything. Is that correct?
Residential,
No, no, I mean, like,
commercial?
You know,
Millie,
Cicero
Millie was one
Summit.
last time. Was a
Oh, sorry.
potential-
Yeah, so nothing on Project Mastodon. I think that's paused. Not explicitly. I'm just assuming because I've talked to tech a handful of times and they didn't mention anything. The bakery-ish, nothing there. They haven't made any decisions. And Project Gibraltar, I'm working with that company on some policy issues at the state and federal level because they are not included in the CARES Act. So nothing committed there as well. So I think those are all the projects we've got in the pipeline.
So in this minutes that Teresa sent us, I reviewed our last meeting, and one thing was a general discussion on a potential new project called Millie.
That one is there. That was the large water user. There's nothing more on that. I've talked to Nate a couple times, and there's been no movement on that either.
Okay.
And in full disclosure, George was wondering when she's going to get a project named after her.
I know. I know.
And we want one too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Any other questions, anyone, before we move on? Okay, the utility corridor update.
Yeah, we've put everything in motion. I think we got clearance to begin boring the area for the new water tower. We've executed the design contracts. The engineer has flown the village and the corridors to begin aerial photography and aerial surveying. So we got a message yesterday. They're out on Duncan Plains doing surveying. So they're out and about. So that's all progressing very nicely. One thing with New Day, I'll backtrack on the water line. We do have a schedule that proposes a March 1st open date of next year. So we'll meet our contractual incentive to get that water line online prior to March 1st or at March 1st, and there's $60,000 laying on the table for that one. So we plan to do that. So that's kind of the basics of the utility corridor update, unless Jack, you have anything else?
No.
No, I don't.
Okay, anybody else, any comments before we move on? Okay,
Fine.
you're good, Chip?
I'm good.
All right, the next one is strategy for achievement of our goals. Right now, I mean, everything is sort of with COVID-19. I don't see us doing a lot of moving around and a lot of action right now. But one thing we could do is update the marketing and branding, maybe work on the website. It's one thing we could perhaps do.
Well, that is a great segue, Cheryl.
Yes, it is.
So I talked to Nate Harmon, Cybertooth Technology, on Saturday, and we had a good conversation about. I asked him for a proposal because we wanted to get going on this. Couple things concern me. First is his time frame is like 2 months to get this thing turned around, and the amount of hours he has concerns me. So that was Saturday. So Saturday night, last night, and today a little bit. I've created a website which you can see here. That has. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Oh, his proposal was $6,000 as well. We only paid $5,000 for a much harder website back in 2016, whenever it was. So that kind of worries me that the time frame and the price both are more than what I was looking to do. So I briefly talked to Teresa yesterday, and um, I think we can do it because of the slowdown. Because we have a little bit extra time around that, maybe we can populate all this stuff. I've done a lot of it, and it's a lot of copy and pasting, but there's still a lot of work to do.
What software are you using?
We continue to use Word. This one is WordPress because that's what our existing one is, and easiest for Teresa and I to navigate.
Okay.
Nate was proposing Squarespace,
Right.
which would be another learning curve. Not a big one, but that isn't something else to learn. So my thought, we not spend $6,000, and I think we can knock this out in the next 30 days because of the situation of the COVID-19. So that's just a thought on my end.
Well, I have been talking to Nate just because I'm working with him on the touch screen for the library, the historic Johnstown, Ohio site. And I was talking to him yesterday, and I told him, well, we're having a meeting today. He said, well, and that kind of prompted him to get that quote to you. And because he said, well, what time? And I told him, and he the way he explained the 6,000 was he was thinking it was going to take a lot more hours than what he had originally anticipated, because there's so many things to, include. He said, I don't know that it'll come in at 6,000, but I'm fine with what the two of you want to do. But I do want to see if we can consolidate, and maybe you've already talked about this, consolidate all the agendas and minutes and so forth. So by year, so they're not just, where you have to see a whole bunch of listings. I assume maybe you can do that with WordPress.
Yeah, you
I
can.
thought they were consolidated by year.
Pardon?
Aren't they consolidated by year?
They might be now.
Oh.
I guess I haven't looked at the minutes for a while. So maybe they are, and that'd be great.
Yeah, to answer your question, Carol, yeah, we can have them consolidated. Same with the resolutions and the ordinances and everything like that. It'll be an effort to reduce a lot of the redundancy. Like,
yes,
for instance, water, sewer, and utility billing. The water page has everything about utility billing, and utility billing has everything about water and sewer. I'm kind of trying to separate those things. So if it touches utility billing, it's at utility billing. If it's about our water reports or any policies, then that's over at the water page. So because you don't want to have 3 different places to update the website, because then if you forget to do one, then you have conflicting info. So this new one would be much simpler, it's designed basically on Westerville's, what you see, these drop downs is how Westerville has it organized. And I think it was really easy to use. Quite literally copying and pasting a lot of stuff from our old site. I don't know, just when he said $6,000 last night, I'm glad I started this already, because I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Much.
We've had WordPress for a long time, and we did it through whatever that InDesign, I think it's called.
Yeah, on target.
With Nate Strine. I'm just curious if we need to update that software, because we've been using that WordPress design for quite a while now. And I'm sure there's some bells and whistles that we might want to tap into if there's any kind of a new design or
Yes.
upgrade.
Yeah, WordPress does upgrade everything. So if there's a WordPress upgrade, we automatically get it.
Okay,
We just never push that upgrade because there's a lot of static things in the on target design one that we just didn't have the opportunity to change.
okay,
So if like I can go in here and hit a different theme and I pick
Mhm.
this one, this Dalston theme, I could click that and it would automatically update the entire website to this new theme. Not that we're going to do that, but that is a possibility where having that custom code with on target didn't let us do that. So that website, our current website's pretty static except for the content. So I don't know if that answers your question, Carol, but it's much easier to do the way this is set up currently.
okay. Well, Nate said something to me about the Westerville site, and I did go out and look at that. And one thing I really hope we can do is the question, what are you looking for? And then this page comes up and shows all these different things that, I'm looking for how to do a water bill, or I'm looking to see where my what company the trash company is. I really liked that. What are you looking for? ... or question mark. So I think that'd be cool if we could get all of that on one little, page.
Yep.
And people can just link out then to that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it's on here. It's at the very end here of the menu. So yeah, as we get everything else populated for services and residents, we can just populate that back, point it back to all those other pages. So absolutely, I completely agree.
That'd be
Okay.
great.
So I mean, I don't want to do a website, but it seems to be a lot more economically feasible and time feasible at this point. So I don't have a problem between Teresa and myself and the directors taking a look at the content over the next course of the 30 days to get this pushed out.
Okay.
And we'd also
That sounds-
consolidate the economic development website as well.
Right.
And get rid of that.
So in Westerville, usually it's a good place to go to see what they're doing. So
Yeah, if you combine, I'll pick on Teresa. If you compare the clerk of council verbiage, ours and Westerville's, you will see a very similar wording. So it's pretty simple.
okay, great. Thanks, Jim, for doing that, because it does need to be done. And that's one thing maybe we have time to do right now, since other things are not available to do. So
Yeah, I mean, I probably have 6 hours in this right now, and it's probably 70% done.
great. Sounds good.
So I don't know, Teresa, what do you think?
I like it. I like the calendar you put on there. I can help you load stuff, all the,
Yeah,
copy
I think
paste, let me know.
once I get it populated, like all the sites populated, I think I'll need your help going back through and linking the documents and whatnot. So it's pretty simple, obviously. You like this calendar, the Google Calendar?
Yeah. I like it better than the way you have it now, like events.
Yeah. And this is obviously a calendar that we can populate. So, yeah, that's it.
So the consolidation, I'm still working on a wish list of a price for the civic clerk. That would really consolidate. If you look at Canal Winchester's website at any point, they use it and it's pretty cool.
What is it called?
Sorry,
It's a
Yeah, Teresa, could you repeat what you said? I distracted myself.
Sorry.
Just a wish list. On the website note about Carol's comment and consolidating like the council minutes and all of that. Canal Winchester uses a program called Civic Clerk, which we've been exploring, and I can use a 90-day free trial, but I'm trying to figure out how much it's going to be at the end of it because I don't want to love it and then give it up. But if you go to Canal Winchester's website at any point, you'll see how they have everything's linked. All their minutes. It's pretty neat. So maybe someday.
I'm looking at their website and I'm not sure what to look under to see this civic clerk.
Okay. Well, you won't see that. It's
Okay, are you talking about under each of the navigation things at the top that you click and then you see everything in one page? Is
let
that
me
what
get
you're
there.
talking about?
So if you go to their government and you go to
Yes.
city council,
Sorry, my kindergartner Zoom meeting started at 1 o'clock and the video wasn't working. So we're putting out fires left and right.
let's see, agenda center.
Down at the bottom? Agendas,
Yeah, if you like, they have
the little button,
yeah, like agendas, view agendas and minutes.
yes. I see that, I like that.
Yeah.
That really, yes, it really consolidates
Yeah.
things and goes by years.
And
And
board.
yes,
Mhm.
I like that.
So they
So-
use that civic clerk, the
Okay,
program, to do this.
so how
But
much
you-
is it?
I don't know
Yeah.
yet.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm checking.
why don't you get a price?
I'm yeah. Jim signed up for the free 90-day. Couple of things with Civic Ready and Civic Clerk, so we're checking it out.
All righty.
okay. Is the Civic Ready like the agenda thing that you want, the agenda management thing, Jim, that we put into that Facebook grant?
No, that's just what Teresa was talking about. Civic Plus, right?
Civic
Teresa?
Clerk
Civic Clerk, yes.
is like an agenda management
Yes.
system. Okay. Well, that could be part of that 20,000, I would assume.
Yeah.
Technology money from New Day.
Yeah. Sorry,
We're
Jeff.
spending that money all over the place.
Well, and that's one of the
Jim,
reasons
this
I think we
civic-
can do the website on our own and save $5-6 grand of that.
Mhm. You
Would
will
this
call and
civic-
let Nathan know though, right? That
Sure.
we have to back out of that at the moment.
Yes.
Or we can't do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Jim, with this civic clerk, is it just detailed towards that, or could it branch out like the iWorks into work orders and a work order system?
They have another software system of that caliber. Yes. It's not Civic Clerk, but there is. I think
It's
there's
with that.
It's a sister one. Yes.
Like iWorks has their modules for different items, road work orders, all those things. I didn't know if this also, if we're looking at that versus an iWorks, maybe we could branch into that, because we need to upgrade that work order system.
Absolutely. And
I know nothing about it.
I agree. But yeah, it is possible to do that. I don't know. They've kind of been quiet on the amount of money these things are going to be. So Teresa's going to be a wolf and try and get that information out from them. So we'll see where it starts and where it ends. But yes, Jack, that it is a possibility.
Well, instead of having two different systems, it might be easier to consolidate the one. Yeah, they want Teresa to love it and then tell her how much it's worth.
Well,
what
that's
it
what-
costs.
that Civic Ready is, Teresa and I talked yesterday. It's a 90-day free trial, but they won't tell us how much it is. And I'm not going to go tell people we have a reverse 911 or something similar, and then they tell us 90 days it's $15,000.
Right.
Right.
No, I was just throwing that out there. If it does look good and we can look at that for the work order system we're talking about, maybe that's the way to go. Okay, thank you.
Could we possibly call our sister city, Canal
Yeah.
Winchester, and ask them what they pay for what they do?
Yes,
what
I'm
they
going to
get.
do that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're ahead of the game. Great.
And two, with the website, I mean, if you guys think, it's too plain or it needs to be a little flashier, I mean, you're not going to hurt my feelings by any means. So let me know
Well,
what you think.
I will tell you one thing that Nathan did tell me. He said, "Oh, I'm really excited. I went out and did a bunch of," he's a professional photographer too, I guess. He said he went out and took a bunch of pictures that he could hope to incorporate into the website. So just telling you.
Yeah, he told me the same. And maybe we give him a price or he gives us the price for those copyrights. I don't know. Maybe that's something we can do.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Jim, do you want Jack to talk about the possibility of increasing the water, the tap fees, or do you want to postpone that?
Yeah, we can just do a quick update, Jack, if you want to give where we're at with today's prices and potential future prices.
Yes, I can, and I'll be brief. Actually, at I think it was our last council meeting that we actually had in the council chambers, and we were talking about rate increases. And Mrs. Rose brought up that she said that she checked into different communities' capacity charges and tap fees, and we were lagging behind. Well, that struck a chord because back in 2015, we increased our tap fees, but not to the full extent that the engineers had recommended, because it was a huge jump because we hadn't moved our capacity charges in a number of years. So what we did in 2015 was we raised our water capacity from 2,820 to 5,000, and we raised our sewer capacities up also. So that struck me, and I went back through the files and I found, and we had agreed that we were going to review these capacity charges every 5 years. Well, it's 2020, and I again have to give Mr. Rose credit for mentioning it because that brought it back to my mind. So back in 2015, the engineers recommended that for a 3/4 inch tap, and of course then it would go up based on line size, to $7,383. And we only raised it to 5,000 because we thought that was an awful big jump from the 2,800. Sewer capacity charge based off of a 3/4 inch water line was $7,018. So we are at the 5-year review period. We're not late. And the base discussion back at that time was then we would probably increase these fees to what the engineers designed. Now, also, I've got a note in here that said we were going to have the engineers do a quick look over to see if they needed increased again, but a quick look over by them to run these calculations, I think last time was $10,000. So just putting it out there that in 2015, capacity charges should have been 7,300 and 7,000 based off of the situation then. So I would recommend that we consider taking those capacity charges up to the 2015 recommendation and get that put in place for all developments that have not been approved or started. But that would have to be done obviously by an act of council.
And Jack, when you get a chance, can you send those, email that to me or Basecamp it to me?
Absolutely.
Could we vote on it on our meeting on the 23rd, our virtual meeting?
21st.
Oh, 21st.
I mean, that's completely up to you guys. I can have an analysis ready because there is going to be some get into some minutia on like Pulte and some of those existing developments on, you know, what fee are they going to be paying because they're currently under development, you know, but we can have that done in the next day or, you know, few days, working back and forth with Jack. So it's up to you guys if you guys want to push that on.
Well, I think once we get back to so-called normal, some of these companies, these developers are going to push ahead. And so I'd like to have this in place further ahead than, you know,
Yeah,
where
that's
we
my
just kind of just jumping on them. This way.
that's
we've
my
got
thought,
it
Carol.
in the
So if
works.
somebody like Fisher Homes
Yes.
decides to do what they're talking about doing, or another development comes in, they can see these numbers in advance. I would probably recommend that somebody like Leafy Dale, who is finishing, which is Miranda, who's finishing their last phase, it's already been planned, it's already there, their price points are already set based off of our capacity and charge fees. That, you know, this is my suggestion, that it wouldn't affect them or
They would be
Pulte.
grandfathered.
Yeah, but anybody new that does not have the zoning finalized,
Yes.
I think it should take effect with them. That's my
Well-
suggestion. I don't know. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, for the most part, I have a little concern maybe of looking at Pulte a little bit harder because they're still going to be putting in that next section. So maybe the first section is today's prices, and that next section with the infrastructure could be new prices. But that would be my only review or concern. But it's not a do or die. So yeah, I would agree with you in principle.
I have no problem with that, obviously, because it supports, it's great support for the water and sewer department as far as funds. I just know they would probably, and it's not that we shouldn't do it, they would probably go, wait a minute, we based our house pricing and layout all on these current tap fees, would be the argument that we would be the pushback.
And I would say one thing, that those prices are just given to the buyer. It's not like they're absorbing those costs.
You're
Right.
correct.
Well, I would say, I definitely agree going with that, but my question is, this was the recommended amount 5 years ago. Is 7,000 enough? I mean, do we raise it up a little bit more?
Well, we can't raise it arbitrarily. We would have to have an engineering study on it,
Okay,
because these fees have to be defendable in court, which says to replace this much water system, this much water plant, this much sewer plant, in today's dollars cost X dollars. In the end, we'd recoup that easily, because I would say the base information, because GGC did this, and of course they were bought out by CT, so they should have all that information. But they'll probably want somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 to run a new set of calculations. Now, that would be recouped quickly, and one water and sewer tap fee at the increased rate. So we can handle it either way, or we can pass this as is, and of course we should review it again 5 years, but then 4 years in, have an engineering study to see where it should be in the 5th year. I'm fine doing it either way.
I kind of like the idea of going ahead and letting CT, if we have some cash to do it. And we've got, I think we have a potential here to really grow. And I would rather have this figured out ahead of time. So I like the idea of getting, if we can, if Dana can find the funds to pay CT, or maybe it's part of our already contract with them, that we get them to do that, based on the fact that we do have other things coming down, developers coming down the pike to build.
And
I would like to see that too, because if we wait another 4 years, then we're 10 years behind. And with inflation, I just want to get the most bang for our buck that we can get.
Depending on how much they want, I have small engineering budgets in water and sewer. And since these are water and sewer items, I could probably pull it out of that existing budget, Jim, instead of taking it out of general engineering, depending on the cost.
yeah, we can take a look at it if you wanted to call Wes and see what he says on a price. Another thing for Carol's point about growth is we had a staff meeting yesterday, and Jim told us, and Bailey, correct me if I'm wrong, but we got 13 new single families being built this year already, which is on track for the 58 that we did last year. So if it does anything, and there's actually going to be a story in the Newark Advocate. I talked to Kent Mallett yesterday about how or if the virus is going to affect us, and I basically told him no, I don't think it's going to, in terms of building. So I think it's
Well, and a way to justify us making quite a increase is because we didn't go with the recommended 2015 charges. And now we feel like, you know, if you built after that time, you probably got a deal.
Yeah, and the only people who are going to get upset per se is the developers, and it's not like existing homeowners are going to be affected by this. So it's not like
That's very true.
It's not.
But I'm just saying we can justify to the developers, hey, if you were here in 2015, you got kind of a break.
Sure.
But now we have to maintain our infrastructure and move those charges up.
I'm hearing
Go ahead.
information from Fisher too, that they're almost ready or, you know, ready to start the filing process for annexation on the Michelson property. So that's
Well-
coming down the line too.
Has Fisher come back with all the things they said they'd be back to us with?
They haven't updated me on their site plan or
Right.
anything like that, but I do know that they've tried very hard. They've done everything in their, I think, in their power to contact all of the surrounding neighbors and talk to the school board and meet their needs. So Amanda called me 2 weeks ago and said that they're about ready to start the filing process. So we'll be hearing from them, I really think, in the next few weeks, maybe a month or two.
Bailey, we that was one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up at this meeting, because I wanted to make sure we got in front of any other development with these changes. So if that does hit or come, we can let them know up front that there is going to be a change in the tap fees, and it will be subject, they will be subject to the new tap fees. Only the existing housing developments in process now may be grandfathered, not anything new. So, because based on what we have, we know there's going to be an increase, and I would agree with Carol and Cheryl that after the engineers review it, there's probably going to be an increase in that. So I just don't want Fisher to come in under the old because they beat us to the deadline. Does that make sense, Jim? Or
No. We have the ability, if we change these tap fees, I mean, we don't have to grandfather anybody. You know, it's they could prepay if they wanted to and buy up 200 tap fees, but obviously I think it's good business practice to let them know that we're going to be upgrading them, and I'm sure Bailey will do that. But we can change them on Tuesday, and they go into effect for everybody if we want. So
okay, all right. I would hate for them to prepay 200 of them at the lower rate.
Sure.
Is your plan to bring this to Finance Committee on Tuesday?
Well, with the new development that we want the engineers to do a review, I honestly don't know that they can be done that quick.
It won't.
Okay.
I mean, we
How
can
long
have
do
a
you
general
think it would
discussion
take?
about it.
Jack, how long it would take?
Well, we've given them a lot of projects that we keep saying priority, priority, priority. I would have to talk to West, and I'll get back with you to see how long this would take for the review. I don't think it would be over 30 days, simply because they should have all the background information
Mhm.
to move forward. I don't think we can add in the new water tower and the new lines because they're not actually built yet, but that would be covered in the next 5-year review. So I'll try to get a timeline from Wes on this and then get that information back out to you folks. But I think next Tuesday is not feasible.
Could you go ahead and take them up to the top of the 15 scale for now, and then depending on engineering review, have it go into effect like at a later date?
I'd hate to change twice, in a short.
Yeah.
It may be better just to, based on what Jim said, we can change them Tuesday and say it goes in effect Wednesday, and that would affect everybody. So I think based on wanting to get this review, we probably ought to get the information and do it once, because this is the right time for the 5-year review. I mean, we're right there. So let me get a little more information, see how long it's going to take, and we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Anything else? So when's our council meeting is what, Tuesday then?
Yeah,
Tuesday night.
Yes.
Okay.
and
we
finance
have-
at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
And Jim, you're going to go to the meeting, hookups and all that.
Yep. And
Okay.
one thing with this virtual stuff, each link is going to be unique. You're not supposed to reuse link after link. So when Teresa sends out the agenda, she'll have the updated links that are unique to each meeting. So just don't click on old links. They won't work.
Okay.
I'm going to so I'll be able to send that link out with the agenda, correct? And then any of the public that wants to get on can get on.
Correct.
Because we're going to have the Rice property annexation ordinance on the agenda. So I'm thinking there's going to be people that are going to want to get on and talk.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask, Yaz's advice was to put a note on the agenda and notify, or when I send the council packet, that anybody who wishes to speak for a public hearing, like, notify us first. Do you want me to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so we know.
Right.
Yeah, because that's going to lay on you, Chip, is to monitor and moderate.
And come off.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
So I'll add that note, and then I should be able to get a list, hopefully, to everyone that has comments on the legislation. I'm just going to ask them to send me their name and information and their comment ahead of time.
Yeah, and then we can just include that in the minutes as if it was read aloud.
So Jim, are you going to give them any ability to talk during the Zoom meeting or the GoTo meeting?
That is on the shoulders of our mayor, but
Thanks.
I mean, I think you almost have to.
I have to.
But what we can do is things like you just mentioned, is getting a hold of you prior to, and
Right.
having
Right.
written comments submitted to the record. And but yeah, we do have to allow the same platform that council uses that the public can use to submit comments. So yes, we have to.
So do you have the ability to keep public members muted until it's time for public comment?
Yes, I have the ability to mute everybody or nobody or individually. Yes.
Okay.
And we will do that. We will make sure everybody's muted.
Okay.
Unless they're trying to speak, obviously. Council members. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yes, it will.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I believe we can adjourn the meeting.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Great.
So we'll see everybody on Tuesday then.
Glad to hear from you, Cheryl.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, bye.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.